Hi everyone, Mike Flores here, co-founder of TradeProsper. I want to take a look at the trades that I'm going to be watching this week and looking to put positions on. Let's begin looking at the E-mini S&P futures market. So looking at this market, we see that we broke higher last week. We broke these 55-day highs, swing highs, but closed weaker on Friday. Now, even though that happened and everyone's calling for the market to have a big retracement, what I'm looking for here is to see what the technical picture is telling me. And at this moment, it's telling me stay long. There's no reason to be short or get short at the moment. These swing lows here, this swing low here, is the first level I'm looking at, which coincides with this 50-day moving average and 20-day low. And at the moment, I just look to be long. Notice that this market compared to the NASDAQ, they're both, here goes the NASDAQ, they're both pretty strong. And again, I'd be looking at this swing low here, 50-day moving average, 20-day low, this low in this area, before I'd even consider getting out of a long position if I'm long this market at the moment. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is that we've just reached a 27-year low in bearish sentiment by investment advisors. Now that's pretty interesting because everyone in the market seems to think bullish, bullish, bullish. And I don't really like to see that when the whole crowd is going one way, the herd is going one way. That's a sign to me to pay more attention because we could see a nasty retracement. Again, the technical picture is not showing that, so I'm not going to force myself to get short. Also, the advanced decline line is making new highs, which basically means the amount of advancing stocks versus the amount of declining stocks continues to go higher. That's a bullish sentiment. Now, one thing I do want to take a look at is the Russell 2000, which is the index. Here goes the Russell 2000, the index of the small cap stocks. And looking at this market, you can see it's not strong like the NASDAQ, the S&P, or the Dow. We actually broke below the 200-day and 50-day moving average on Friday and closed below it. So I'm watching this market because if the market does turn and we start to get a move lower in equities, I think the Russell 2000 will really lead the way lower. But at the moment, I'm not trading it. Let's move over to the energy sector. And we talked about Brent crude last week, and this is the market that I really wanted to be short. We said because it's way below the 200-day and 50-day moving averages. The 50-day moving average had crossed below the 200-day. It's had a nice move down with some periods of consolidation, break lower, and I think we're consolidating right now. So on a break of this low here, this swing low down here, this 55-day low line here, this black line, I'm looking to get short. Now, again, we've had a big move down, so may not get short a full position, maybe a half size position to see what happens. The ADX is getting stronger once again, so that's a good sign. But compared to the other energy trades that I see, this is the best one. Let's go to crude. Now, looking at crude, we can see it's not as weak. It is weak, but it's not as weak as Brent crude. You can see here the 50-day is just crossing below the 200-day, and the market is in consolidation period in the 96 to 90 area. So you could get short this one at 90, but I still prefer Brent crude because it's weaker. Now, if for some reason you don't have access to the Brent crude market, you could trade heating oil. Heating oil is weaker than crude oil as well. We see here it's had a leg down, it's period of consolidation, leg down, and it's consolidating here, and it's broken just lower on Thursday. Now, the way I would play this is this inside day here. Notice Friday's high and low are within Thursday's high and low. We've crossed below the 200-day moving average, giving this move a little bit of a stronger move. It gives actually a very stronger confirmation that we're going to go lower. The ADX is rising, meaning that this trend is continuing down. So I would look to sell a full-size position on a break of this low with my stop at the high of the day. You could make your stop these highs up here, but I'm going to use the high of the day. I want to be a little more aggressive and get a larger size position. And that's how I would trade that market there. Lastly, a lot of people like to watch nat gas, but to me, nat gas at this moment is a nothing market. It's trading in this consolidation period that we can see it's been happening for the past 2.5 months. You could trade it to sell on a break of these lows down here. But again, this market's not inspiring me. It's not moving really strongly. The trend, there is no trend at the moment, no strength of trend as we can see. It is below the 200-day moving average and just below the 50-day. But again, I think there's better places to put your money to use. Let's go over to precious metals. Going over to precious metals, we'll start with gold. Gold has been very weak, and I would like to stay short gold. I will not look to get long gold at the moment. We can see we've broken down, had some consolidation, broke down, consolidation, broke down. We're below the 200-day and 50-day moving averages. The 50-day moving average is crossing below the 200-day moving average right now, and I really like to see this move breaking lower. On a bigger term, you can see this line, this big black line here, diagonal line, as a top of a descending triangle. Notice this big black line down here. So really on a break of this 1186 area, which is this double bottom, that would give real confirmation that gold is going to go lower. Now it may bounce the first time down there, the third time down there. Usually though, if it breaks through, it's a real serious sign. So I'm going to be watching this market closely and looking to get shorter on a break of those lows. But currently what I want to talk about here is you could trade this for a 1 day, maybe 2 day trade by doing what's called an outside day. Notice how Friday's high and low encompassed Thursday's high and low and closed near the lows on Friday. So what you could do is sell, market on open, or sell on the break of Friday's lows and leave your stop at the high of Friday or up here in this mini swing high area. But really would look to sell on a break of this low, and I'd leave my stop right at here. That's what I'm going to do. Let's go over to the copper market for a second. I like looking at copper because it's a barometer for what's happening in the market overall. And we can see here it's been stuck in a pretty big range overall. Nothing really exciting happening at the moment. It is below its 200-day and 50-day moving averages, and you can see the 50-day about to cross over and go lower below the 200-day. We've had weakness the last 3 days, and I really want to see it break this first low here, this low here, before I get short this market. My first target area will be down here and really down here. So the copper market is what I'm stalking. I'm not in it yet, but I am stalking it to get shorted if that move does take place. Now over to cocoa. We talked about cocoa last week and how we were looking to see if it broke to new lows to get short. And it didn't. We can see here we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 higher days, 6 higher closes. And now the move is just starting to get a little bit of strength here. We can see we're closing on Friday near the highs, and the ADX has just turned blue and above 20, which means the market's starting to trend. So now the way I would look to trade this is if it breaks to new highs, breaks this line here, this 55-day high, 20-day high, this 20-day high and this swing high, I look to get long the market here. Now again, your stop could either be the low of the breakout day, or you could make it the 50-day moving average, whichever you prefer. But this is a market that I'm watching closely. Let's move over to the currencies. And in the currencies, let's start with the Australian dollar. All right, looking at the Aussie dollar, this market has been very weak. It's below the 200-day moving average. We've had some big moves down last week. This week we've seen some other big moves down mixed with some up days as well. But the strength of the trend is really starting to take hold here. At the moment, there is no trade that I'm really looking to put on, but I am watching this market to see if there's any reason to get shorter. Now against the other currencies, the only other currency that really looks good against the Australian dollar to me is the Aussie CAD. We can see the Aussie CAD has been really weak over the past week and a half, and this is another market that I'm stalking to see if there's any reason to get shorter. And here goes the ADX showing the strength of this trend with a move lower. We recorded a long sideways range in all of foreign exchange for the past 3-4 months, and now markets are starting to move again. We're seeing some volatility, we're seeing things break out, and those are the trades I'm looking at in those two pairs. Let's move over to the Kiwi. Now the Kiwi has been the weakest compared to the Australian dollar versus the Kiwi dollar. The Kiwi versus the dollar has been a lot weaker. This market is below the 200-day and 50-day moving average, and it's also crossed over here. We see the 50-day cross below the 200-day. Now, I've been short this for a while, but I'm looking to do this trade intraday. And what I'm looking at here is this double inside day. So let me show you what I'm seeing here. Friday's price high and low are smaller than Thursday's high and low, and Thursday's high and low is smaller than Wednesday's high and low. This is called a double inside day. All right, this tends to be a good pattern when it breaks out. Now, will it break out higher or break out lower? I'm not really sure because this is 2 days of indecision, really. The market couldn't push its way higher or lower. But the way I'm going to trade this is put more weighting to the downside. I'll do a full size position on a break of this low, and I'll do maybe a quarter to a half size position on a break of this high. Now, I'm looking at this market because the Westpac consumer sentiment number comes out Sunday night tonight at 6 p.m. New York time. So I'll be looking at that time I'll be watching this market. And again, I want to see what happens, and if I will sell on a break of this low. If you want to be a little more conservative, you could sell on a break of this low and buy on a break of this high. Again, this is a 1 or 2 day trade, so I'll place both sides. Let's go over to Euro Swiss. Looking at the Euro Swiss market, it's been consolidating. We can see it's been a big consolidation pattern and just recently broke lower, but it's consolidating again. There's been a lot of volatility in the euro versus the Swiss over the last week and a half. We're below the 50-day, 200-day moving averages, so it's stair-stepping lower. We can see that, these stair steps it's creating. And I really wouldn't want to be in this market until it broke this 55-day low. But let's look to see what happens. Next week there's a bunch of PMI numbers out of Europe, and if they come out weak, this market could make new low and break down from here. I want to move over now to the yen and the yen crosses. Now, the yen has been weak, and for the Japanese economy, this is good because they're an export-based economy. But this market seems a bit stretched. We can see here that we've had a really good, strong move higher in dollar yen. Now, basically what this is telling me, keep your risk management tighter. We've broken above the 40 line in the ADX, but it's really strong. We're at near 52 at the moment, but I'm going to really be watching this market to see if there's any reason to get out of my long dollar yen and cross yen positions. At the moment, though, I'm not going to fight the trend. And actually what I'll look to do, what I'm doing, is I'll look to buy in a break of new highs in dollar yen and keep my stop at the low of Friday. That's what I'll probably do on Monday and look at the markets there. Now, I'm talking about dollar yen. I just told you it's really stretched, so you want to be watching it. So I'll do a smaller size position there. I won't do a full size position. I'll do a quarter size position, but just to keep adding to my overall core long dollar yen position. Now, that's a bit of a more advanced thing to do. The market looks really stretched, so do what you feel comfortable with. But, you know, a lot of famous traders, they always say, buy that which is showing the most strength and sell that which is showing the most weakness. Michael Marcus was a big fan of that. He's a market wizard, and he always said that you wanted to absolutely put a bet down when a market is acting terrible relative to everything else. And when the news is wonderful and the market can't go up, then you want to be sure to be short that market. And basically he's saying exactly what I just said. Make sure that you're buying that which is showing the most strength and selling that which is showing the most weakness. So dollar yen is my favorite in terms of strength. Now, as we look along at some of the other cross yen currency pairs, sterling yen has broken out a few days ago, but notice Friday it closed weaker. And also notice the move hasn't been strong like dollar yen. It's really only been strong over the past few days, and a lot of that has to do with the Scottish referendum vote that we got a few days ago. So again, I prefer to be long dollar yen versus sterling yen, and definitely dollar yen long over euro yen. We can see euro yen had a weak move lower, and now it's really flirting with this 200-day moving average. It broke out, but it really is not sustaining it. And if it gets back into this zone, that's pretty much a neutral area, and I really wouldn't look to be long euro yen at the moment. All right, that's all I got for you guys this week. As always, I want to thank you guys for being with us. Please leave your questions, comments, trade ideas in the comment section below. I just went over some charts over what I'm looking to do during the week. This does not mean that you need to do any of this. This is not a recommendation, just an ideas of what I'm doing and for you to give some feedback. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. You guys have a great week of trading. On behalf of TradeProsper, this is Mike Flores. Talk to you soon. Bye now.